Yo, what is up, guys? Oscar here with the new video, and this is gonna be discussing my Washington Commanders schedule release video. I'm gonna be breaking down each of the opponents, the importance of these games, and then I'll do a season prediction. Even though I really don't, you guys already know what I feel about this about Washington Commanders predictions regarding the season, but I'll get to that and things like that when it comes to it. So. The Washington Commanders, so the schedule came out Thursday, and I couldn't do a video yesterday. I was busy doing other things, and then it came in late Thursday night, so I wasn't going to do a video late Thursday night either. So, to kick off the season, so here are the listed opponents. So, they face the Jaguars week 1, they face the Lions week 2, Eagles week 3, they play the Cowboys week 4, and hold on, let me see here. This is, sorry guys, sometimes it takes for a while. Yeah, Dallas week 4. Who do they play week 5? Is it the Packers, I think? Hold on. Packers. Oh, it's going to be at Tennessee. Then it's going to be a primetime game against the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football. Week 7 is going to be against Green Bay. Week 8 is the Indianapolis Colts, the revenge game for Carson Wentz. More on that. Then we got against Minnesota, at Philadelphia, the return for Carson Wentz to Philadelphia since that trade, at Houston. Let me see here. Against Atlanta, then we have against the Giants, yep, at the New York Giants. Then we have a week 14 bye week, so no game week 14. Then home against New York again. At San Francisco, against the Browns, and then, oh, hold on, yep, yeah, against the Browns, and then we wrap up against Dallas. So that is the schedule for the Washington Commanders, and I'm gonna go break this down game by game. My thoughts on it. So, we're gonna do it little by little. So it's gonna be first game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. First game of the season. Trevor Lawrence, will he improve in his second season? The offense got better, the defense got better. Doug Peterson. So Carson Wentz knows a lot about Doug Peterson. I don't know if Carson Wentz has hard feelings towards Doug Peterson with what he did in Philly, but Doug Peterson was did help out, did give or help out Carson Wentz that year that he was an MVP. So that's the nugget there. Then they're at Detroit. Really, nothing newsworthy here. Dan Campbell, heading into the second season. Let's see what the Lions are this season. So, really nothing to say here. Week 3 at home against Philadelphia. First of the 2 games. So yeah, at home at Philadelphia. So Philadelphia will be traveling to Carson Wentz in Washington. So, can Carson Wentz get redemption on the Eagles in FedEx? So that's one key there. Jaylon Herts versus Carson Wentz. We'll see if the Eagles made the right move in shipping Carson Wentz off. Hopefully we get to know what Jaylon Herts is with A.J. Brown. And, the Eagles already being talked about as the most, as the dream team again. So we'll have to wait and see what the Eagles are made of in week 3. And then at Dallas, my friend Jason Alamio and I will be going back and forth on this one. We'll probably do a live stream. We'll discuss it to be determined. We'll work out those kinks, but it's going to be at Dallas for the first game. Obviously, Washington wanting to redeem with what happened to them in Dallas this past season, that 56-14 humiliating defeat. Can they do it? Let's see if they can respond and come back to Dallas and get a better result. Some side notes here. Only three primetime games, y'all. Only 3 primetime games. I don't really care because Washington sucks at primetime anyway. They shouldn't be on primetime if it was up to me. So, it's kind of good that they don't have a lot of primetime games. Week 5, at home against Tennessee. This game is going to be interesting. Because Washington and Tennessee always comes down to a play or two. Tennessee, in my memory, since I started tracking football, which was in 2005, and then I saw the Tennessee Titans Washington's game in 2006. From 2006, 2010, 2014, and then 2018, all those games were fairly close, and they came to a game or two. Obviously, the 2018 game, sticks in our mind when Josh Johnson started that game, and Washington were still mathematically alive, and then Josh Johnson threw an interception to end the game. So, this is going to be an interesting and a tight game because, ever since I followed Washington, and they've played Tennessee, it's always been a tight game. So, Week 6 at Chicago Bears. This is the Thursday night game. How will the second year quarterback look like? Obviously, the Bears have a new coaching staff. It's going to be at Soldier Field. So it's going to most likely be kind of chilly in October there. So we'll see what the Bears have in store. They're a rebuilding team. So at home against Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. This one could be a tight one as well because Washington and Green Bay always, aside from that 2013 game, and to my memory, Green Bay and Washington always play close. They're not blowout games. Oh, wait, no. Washington did blow out Green Bay one year. And it was 2016 with Kirk Cousins. So, but it's always an entertaining game between Green Bay and Washington. So, what will Aaron Rodgers look like without Devontae Adams? We'll have to wait and see. Let me see here. Week 8, it's gonna be the revenge game. If you're Carson Wentz against Indianapolis, this is gonna be a 4:25 game. I wouldn't call it primetime, but if you guys want to call it primetime, go ahead. Carson Wentz versus the Eagles. The storylines here. Can Carson Wentz prove to the Colts organization that they got rid of him prematurely? We'll have to wait and see. Matt Ryan, has only lost, I think, to Washington once in his career, and that was last season. So we'll have to wait and see. Week 9, at home, against Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, Kevin O'Connell. It's more of a redemption game for them, trying to prove to Washington that, y'all are so dysfunctional that you guys got rid of us for no apparent reason. Kirk Cousins, could have been the franchise guy a lot sooner, but Washington didn't want to pay him. Kevin O'Connell was a Washington, then football team or Redskin coaching candidate, and they went with Ron Rivera, and Ron Rivera decided to go with Scott Turner instead of retaining him. So, will Kevin O'Connell be looking for redemption here? And then at Philadelphia, Monday Night Football, the headlines here, the return of Carson Wentz to Philadelphia. We'll have to wait and see. I'm expecting, because Philly fans sometimes, and Marvin's probably going to get after me for this, or any other Philadelphia fan, really. They're probably going to be booing Carson Wentz, even though they're known for giving up on their, they gave up on Carson Wentz. We'll see what Jaylon Herts does this year. So Carson Wentz returned to Philadelphia. Will he get booed? We'll have to wait and see on Monday Night Football. Week 11, we have at Houston. More on that later. Davis Mills, is he going to be better? Is he going to be better in year 2? Davis Mills was very impressive this past season. Leading the Texans to a 4-13 record when basically that team wanted to go 2-15 or get be even worse. Week 12 against Atlanta, Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder. I honestly don't know what to say about this game. Arthur Smith, I guess a game. At FedEx Field in my opinion, because I really don't know what to say about this game. Week 13 at the New York Giants. First of 2 games against the Giants, and they play in a 3-week span just because Washington, the Giants are rebuilding, getting a new coach. They're trying to figure out if Daniel Jones is the guy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It's also a late season game, late division game as well. So we'll see what these two teams are come week 13. Week 14, as mentioned, we got the bye week. Late bye week. I honestly don't really care. As long as Washington doesn't, if they're in the midst of a playoff run, and I say if, not when, if, it could come at a right time considering with what happened to Washington last week, last year with the COVID bug coming out late into the season. So we'll have to wait and see though what Washington looks like in week 14. And then week 15, the home game against the Giants, the return game. Again, we'll have to see what these two teams are playing for come that time. And then at San Fran, this is going to be a Christmas Eve game on CBS at 4:05. I don't count it as a primetime game because if it was going to be in Washington, it was going to be 1 o'clock game, so who cares? Week 17 against Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. We'll have to see if Deshaun Watson plays this game, Amari Cooper, things like that. Again, we'll have an X on this game. And then week 17, we wrap up, week 18, at home against Dallas. This right now is a 1 o'clock game, but like I said, depending on what these two teams will be looking like towards the end of the season, who knows, maybe it could be a win and you're in type of deal for the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. So, Giants at Commanders, December 17th or 18th. So the Giants, the second Giants Washington game is gonna be a TBD. We'll have to wait and see what happens, I guess, for that one. So let's do record predictions real fast, and we'll get out of here. At home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Washington Commanders and the Jaguars always have thrilling matchups. In 2006, 2010, 2000, those are the 2 games that I remember that were very competitive. 2006, 36-30, and then 2010 in overtime. I think it was 20-17 or something like that. So Washington needs to start on the right foot, and again, we'll get to wait and see what Trevor Lawrence is looking like with Christian Kirk and players like that. But I'm going to give Washington the win here to start off 1-0. And this is where it gets dicey for me. So if y'all don't want me to get real, I highly suggest you guys get ready for that pill, because I'm going to give you guys a dose of reality here. Week 2 against the Detroit Lions. I guarantee you that some YouTubers are saying, oh, Washington is going to start 2-0. They have a chance of starting 2-0. Remember, y'all, this isn't Ron Rivera. This is Ron Rivera we're talking about. He will screw up. Also, The Washington and the Lions. Remember, the Lions went, I believe, 12 years. So that was like what? 5 straight games or 6 straight games where they kept on beating Washington when Washington were the favorites. So be careful with this one. Everyone's saying, oh, Washington can beat Jacksonville. I'm one of those people. But they got to take on Detroit, and they're saying, oh, we're going to start 2-0. The Detroit Lions are trash. Remember, the Detroit Lions, even though they're trash, they always find a way to beat Washington. So, you know what? I'm going to give Detroit the win here because history is on their side. Washington will split 1-1. Week 3 against Philly. At home against Philly. I gotta give it to Philly, y'all. I'm giving it to Philly at home. Just cause. I don't have, and I'm in the mode. I said this with Real Madrid at the beginning of their season. Real Madrid, I said that they weren't going to win a Champions League. They weren't going to win a trophy. They weren't going to win a championship, and they won a championship. So they right now shut me up and earn my respect. So Washington's basically got to do this the same year because Ron Rivera, 2 straight 7-win seasons ain't going to cut it for me, man. And like I said, Washington are going to... Well, we'll do my record predictions here in a second. We'll get to my record prediction at the end. But Washington's going to start 1-2. Yeah. You guys want to debate me on that? Go right ahead. Write it in the comments. And then week 4 at Dallas. It's going to be at Dallas. Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott in the NFC East has a winning record against Carson Wentz. Always a tight game between these two quarterbacks that were drafted in 2016. I got to give it to Dallas as well because it's in Dallas. There's just no way Carson Wentz beats Dallas in Dallas. So Washington will start the season 1-3. And then week 5 against Tennessee. This one's going to be an interesting match because, like I said, Washington and Tennessee always have, tight games. Ryan Tannehill is regressing. He doesn't have key weapons. Aside from Derrick Henry, Washington almost came away with a win in 2018. So you know what? I'm going to give Washington the win here, so Washington will go 2-3. So it's going to be 2-3 here. I'm going to give them the win against Tennessee. Thursday night against Chicago. At Chicago, primetime. It really depends on what the Bears are week 5. From what I'm hearing is that quarterback, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name. Hold on, let me ask Alexa. What is the Chicago Bears quarterback? No. Alexa, Chicago Bears quarterback?
The starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears is Justin Fields.
There we go, Justin Fields. We'll have to see what he is in year 2, but Washington and Chicago have interesting matchups. I'm going to give Washington the win here. Primetime, Prime Video, Thursday Night Football. So Washington and Bears, Washington gets to 3-3. They bounce back after 2 straight losses. So they bounce back with 2 straight wins. 1 p.m. against Green Bay. It's still Aaron Rodgers' show. Even though Aaron Rodgers lost key weapons, it's going to depend on how Aaron Rodgers looks without Devontae Adams. You know what? I'm going to pick one upset, and the upset's going to be against the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to give Washington the win here against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. They're going to somehow pull something out here. So Washington will go 4-3 after 7 games. And then week 8, who do we got here? 4:25 at Indianapolis. So it's going to be Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets a redemption. Can he redeem himself? Can he get... I don't like to use the word revenge against the team that gave up on him fairly quickly. I'm going to say... Ooh. I'm going to say yes. I feel like Carson Wentz, yes. I'm going to give Carson Wentz and Washington the win here. So they come back after starting 1-3, get 4 straight, 5-3. So 5-3 here. They beat Matt Ryan, and he gets redemption on the Colts organization. Week 9 against Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, Kevin O'Connell. Kirk Cousins, does he harbor hard feelings towards Washington? Who knows? I don't think he does because he's such a nice guy. Kevin O'Connell, I don't know if he harbors hard feelings, but the Vikings, with the passing threat that they have, they still have Dalvin Cook. I'm going to give it to the Vikings. So the Vikings, end the Washington 4-game win streak to make them 5-4. So let's see here. Week 10 at Philadelphia, the redemption game, or the revenge game, if you guys want to use that R word. I don't like using revenge at all. Monday Night Football. I have... Should I be fair or should I be real? I'll be real, and y'all can get after me afterwards. I'm gonna have to give this game to Philadelphia. I do. I'm just gonna have to. I feel like Carson Wentz, was rightfully shipped out of Philadelphia, was rightfully shipped out of Indianapolis. I know he's gonna try to prove his worth and try to prove everyone wrong, and including me. I'm one of his doubters. So, but as of right now, I'm gonna give him and Washington the loss here. So the Washington Commanders back to a losing streak. They dropped to 5-5 here. And then week 11, 1 p.m. at Houston. I'm going to give Washington the win here against Davis Mills. We don't know how Lovie Smith is going to look like as a coach. Davis Mills, he's a fighter. I got to give him credit. Was one of the most, successful, even though the rookie class from last year wasn't all that great. But Davis Mills did prove that he did belong, maybe to go in the early round second, or, maybe even a late first rounder, but he went in the third round. So, but, I think that Washington, after, in my prediction, after losing 2 straight, they got to come out, and they got to come out beating Houston. So they're going to beat Houston here to go to 6-5. Next up, week 12, 1 p.m. against Atlanta. I'm going to give Washington a win against Atlanta. Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder, who knows who the starter is, but they don't have the firepower that they used to have. They don't have Calvin Ridley. All they got is Kyle Pitts. They don't have weapons. I mean, they have Drake London, but aside from that, that's it. So, Cordell Patterson maybe, but, I feel like the Falcons are still in rebuild mode. So, gonna give Washington the win here, 7-5. After, the Falcons game. Week 13, at New York Giants. The question is, what will they look like? Will it be Daniel Jones or will it be Tyrod Taylor? And also we got the rookie head coach and Brian Dable. I have Washington and the Giants splitting. I know that Washington swept the Giants last year, but that was against Mike Lennon and a terrible Joe Judge. So we'll have to see. I have Washington and the Giants splitting. I don't have them winning here. I don't. Because it's in New York. So I'm going to give the Giants the win to drop Washington back to, what is that? 7-6. So 7-6 heading into the bye week. So they got 3 games to go. Can they be healed up? Can they go on a stretch? So then at home against the New York Giants. This game is TBD just because they're trying to figure out if, these two teams will have something to play for maybe. So who knows if it's going to be a Sunday game or a Saturday game. So I'm going to give, after losing to the Giants 2 weeks prior in New York, I'm going to give Washington the win here at home. So they will go back to 8-6. Week 16 at San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to give them the loss right here, right now. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care if it's Trey Lance. They still have decent wide receivers. Deebo Samuel most likely will still be on the team. Even if he's not, San Fran and the Washington, against Washington, has always come down to nail biters, in my opinion. It didn't matter who the quarterback was. So you know what? They still have a legit defense. They still have a really good defense. So I'm going to give the win to the 49ers, dropping the Commanders to 8-7. Week 17, again at home. Wait, is it at home? Yes, it is. It's going to be at home at Cleveland against Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, and whoever else is going to be their second wide receiver. It doesn't matter who it is. But Deshaun Watson is enough for me to give the Cleveland Browns the win. Deshaun, if he plays, well, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The Browns beat Washington, 2 years ago already? Or something like that. So you know what? I'm going to give Cleveland the win. I don't care. I feel like the Cleveland Browns are going to be a much better team than what they were last year. So I'm going to give Cleveland the win here, dropping Washington to 8-8. And then week 18 at home against Dallas. Again, this is going to be an interesting game because it's going to be what position are these two teams finding themselves in? Is it win or go home for one of them or both of them? We'll have to wait and see. But Washington against Dallas at home, I have Dallas winning again. Ron Rivera and Washington again fall short of the playoffs or yet again of another winning record. What is that? 8-9. So, hey, I predicted 7-10, and I was seeing if maybe they will end up 7-10. Who knows? Maybe Carson Wentz will flop on the certain games. Maybe my bold prediction of them beating Green Bay will be wrong. Most likely it is, because it's still Aaron Rodgers, and Washington always have trouble with Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter. So maybe that game. Take that game. Oh, yep, 7-10. If you take and I'm putting, Green Bay in that loss column now. Yep. So another 7-10 record, y'all, or another 8-9, 7-10. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know. Do you guys agree with my predictions? Let me know in the comments. It is y'all's turn. Breakdown and analysis of this schedule. It is y'all's turn. If you guys want to scream at me about my predictions, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you like it. Hit that sub button if you're new to my channel, if you're finding me for the first time. Some announcements before I go. Golden Truth. Tomorrow, it's going to be at a different time. And it's probably going to be later. I got things to do tomorrow, and I don't know what time I'm going to get home. So I'm going to reach out to Aaron. So most likely it's going to be a later show than usual. We usually try to get it at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Or, 7:30, 7:15-ish. We get that going. But it's probably going to be more of between 8 or 9 p.m. show. So, stay tuned. But, alright, y'all. That'll do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Until then, guys, keep it real. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.